Now, when we say taxonomy of learning levels, generally Bloom's taxonomy is talked about. And in today's scenario, you have outcome-based education. All colleges in higher education have to implement outcome-based education. Is it correct or not? All of us, right? So, in that scenario of implementation of outcome-based education, Bloom's taxonomy has assumed special significance. When we were students, our teachers never thought about Bloom's taxonomy, and they have never framed the syllabus accordingly, right? Only since Washington Accord, since past 4 or 5 years we are talking about. Now, if the faculty do not have an expertise of formulating the objectives, then today the faculty are considered to be outdated. So, if you want to formulate whether course objectives or unit objectives or subunit objectives, one must know with greater clarity what are the taxonomy levels and then how to formulate the objectives. We must know, right? Pedagogically, that is very, very important, first thing. Second thing is, very often when we say taxonomy of learning levels, always we talk about the theory subjects. Am I right? Only the written way which involve written examinations. Do we talk about the affective domain, levels of learning in the affective domain, the value domain, the belief domain, emotional domain? Do we talk about? Do we talk about the maintenance of the instrument, operation of the instrument, repair of the instrument, laboratory work? Are we making learning levels in the psychomotor domain? No. So, we are giving special importance to only thinking process. We are totally ignoring the affective domain and psychomotor domain, which are equally important. Even when we formulate syllabi also, we spend a lot of time only on formulating the theory courses. Do we give enough importance for formulating the laboratory courses, which are very important? Do we at all give any importance to the affective domain? No, least importance. Actually, it is the affective domain which is more important and which gives direction to the cognitive domain and also psychomotor domain. The tragedy of higher education, not only in India, across the world, is we are making fragmented educationists because only cognitive domain is given importance, affective domain is given least importance, psychomotor domain here and there we touch upon, right? So, in this backdrop, let us see how we have the learning levels of 3 different domains. Anyway, to start with, we have the 3 domains, psychomotor domain, all physical skills like coordination, manipulation, movement, speed, actions which demonstrate fine motor skills, use of precision instruments, tools, driving a car, playing a musical instrument, all come under psychomotor domain. The emotions, feelings, attitudes, all these are important when we build relationship with students. More than the cognitive domain, it is through affective domain we build relationships, even among all of you, between you and me. More important, because we are ignoring affective domain, do we have a right kind of relationship with our students? Do we have a relationship without any authority approach? Do we have a relationship with warmth? Do we have relationship based on empathy? Do we have in higher education? Always we say, no, that is only at elementary level. That parental touch is only at elementary level. I consider parental touch is very equally important even in higher education. Empathy is very important in higher education. Once you deal with students with empathy, definitely they build, they do everything, whatever you say, all assignments in right time, they put in extra effort, their self-efficacy is improved, they feel that they are worthy of living, they feel that they are worthy of getting educated, they feel that they are worthy of human beings. These are all very, very important in higher education. Now, Benjamin Bloom, 1950s, he started this cognitive domain and he developed various levels of learning, and then certain important, so I advise all the distinguished participants to go through this article, Benjamin Bloom's Learning for Mastery in 1968 article. It is available in the net. Initially, you may find it a little difficult, but don't leave it. I spent a lot of time in reading this article to understand, and the whole, essentially, 3 important points. Please reflect upon these 3 important points. Most students in a classroom, in a class of 60 or 50, most students with the necessary prerequisite knowledge, that is important. If it is in the first year, they should have the necessary prerequisite knowledge of +2 for undergoing a mathematics course or a chemistry course or a management course. They must have. That is important. Without prerequisite knowledge, this assumption cannot be taken. They can master the subject, what the teachers have to teach them. This is one very important point on the basis Bloom has given the mastery. Then what is that? It is the task of instruction to find the strategies, methods and materials. Strategies, methods. So now we have current trends in teaching and learning strategies. So what are the strategies we implement? What are the methods and materials we make use of to implement the strategies so that the students master the subject? This is important. So if the students are not able to master the knowledge, that means there is some problem here. Or there is some problem here in the prerequisite knowledge. Because by having a choice of 50%, students get 100% marks in today's examination system, even in +2. Therefore, we get in higher education students without having the prerequisite knowledge for a particular course. That is a serious problem which is to be addressed very carefully. Of course, individual differences of students are taken into consideration when we formulate the strategies. Also, it is not only for the gifted students or fast learners, it is not only for slow learners, it's not only for average learners. We have to see how best we implement strategies to meet the needs and requirements of all the students. Most students, he says, where 90% of the students, they can master the subject, what the teachers want them to master, provided we implement the appropriate teaching methods, appropriate materials. Suppose the student is from a rural background. If you give the material in English language, which is very complex sentences, he will not be able to understand. So you have to provide him the material which can be understood by him easily. So accordingly, suppose some students are not very abstract learners. Some students, they can learn only step by step. So in the classroom also our interaction should be step-by-step approach, not holistic approach. So lot of our strategies, the teacher has to reorient totally himself, his teaching strategies, so that the students will be able to learn. So the problem is with our strategies, but if our strategies suit to a given classroom, the students can master, right? So these 3, on these assumptions we have. Now the question is, what is meant by mastery of learning the particular subject? We have to define. we have to define. That is how, at what level the teacher wants the students to learn, at what level, at what depth he wants the students to learn. That has to be defined. Why should the teacher define? Because once he defines at this level, the students have to learn. Accordingly, he will make the strategies. Accordingly, he will make the material. Accordingly, he will make the assignments. And he will also tell the students in advance at the beginning of the course itself. At this level, you have to learn this course. At this level, you have to master this course. Then the students also know, oh, this is at a higher level I have to learn. It is not remember and recall level. It is apply level, analyze level, evaluate level. Therefore, I have to put in extra time. I have to solve many problems. I have to solve many unknown problems. Accordingly, he will also reorient himself. It is both for the teacher and the students, these specifications. We have to objectives and content of instruction. And so, when we say mastery of the subject, after undergoing this course, the student should be able to apply these concepts to unknown context, analyze these case studies and solve the problems. Like that, the student should be able to do. That means there should be a change in the behavior of the student after undergoing the course. That is how this mastery of the subject is defined in terms of course objectives and content of instruction. And then, now let us see what are the levels.